Have black people turned themselves into their own monolith? Are we in culture truly following the right people? At what point will we have a real conversation about what is too far in the name of content creation? And lastly, is real rap back? Is hip hop making the much needed resurgence that we've all been looking for? We will get into that and more right after this.
Squee bop, dee dop, she dop, ooh. Yeah, watch the duty. We got the late night shift live. Yeah, it's the late night shift live. It's the late night shift live. Yeah. And now for your host, the incomparable Anthony Moore.
Top of the morning, the afternoon, and the evening to you, whomever you may be, wherever you may be watching, looking, or listening. My name is Anthony Moore. Ant Mo for those of you who may know for sure. And if you are a first time watcher, you come on back round now, you hear? Show them boys how you do it up in Harlem there, boy. And if you are a part of the faithful few, my brain trust, so to speak, I love you from the bottom of my corazon. Now, that is heart in Spanish for those of you who even care. But I am your host for tonight's show. And I want to welcome you to the Late Night Shift Live, a show dedicated to shifting the culture's perspective with unadulterated truth and a little bit of grace, one story at a time. We are not, I repeat, we are not salacious or gossipy in nature. So the goal is to keep it real. And that is real relevant, real player, and real live. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? So tonight, we have somewhat of a continuance of what we talked about at the last Late Night Shift Live, getting into some Corey Holcomb talk. But before we do that, I want to quickly check the comments, and then I want to go ahead and get into my opening monologue. As well, of course, I'm letting you know, welcome to the chat. Please hit the like, please hit the hype button, and subscribe for all of those. And Auntie, hey, Auntie in the building. Appreciate you for tuning in. We are getting into the Late Night Shift Live tonight. So without further ado, let me get into my opening monologue. Free speech isn't free anymore. And if we're being honest, it never was. If it's not the popular opinion of the crowd, it can and will cost you your name, your relevancy, and it will cost you, if you're not careful, if you buck the system too much, it can cost you your life. People don't care as much about being understood or getting it right as much as they care about having people agree with what they believe without reason or justification. In America, cancel culture has not and never will make sense in a place considered to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. But unfortunately, it has turned into the land of the freedom to be openly ignorant, coupled with bravery to be obscenely grotesque for likes, clicks, and payouts. It's not that there should ever be a problem with people thinking, understanding, or acting differently than you or I. But the line should always be drawn at the blatant disregard for another fellow human being's well being. We offer truth and grace on this platform. I pray you do the same. So, with that being said, let's get into it before we get into it. Good evening, Miss Reese. And yes, ma'am, I appreciate you as always. So, the last show, I was told that I was said to be gay, a lover of the white people, and not in tune with the pulse of the black culture. Not because I said anything that was disparaging about Corey Holcomb, and not because I co-signed anything of that pertaining to Anton Daniels. Um, but mainly it was because I didn't pick a side at all. I didn't pick the side of what the mob wanted me, the mob effect, the mob mentality. Um, as I said within the intro, the idea that we have made ourselves, or have we made ourselves a monolith? Have we made ourselves have to fit into whatever box that we deem necessary based off of how we view life through our lens? Now, for those of you who may be wondering, what is that word? What does it even mean? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'll give you a definition really quickly. Monolith, a large, uniform, unchanging group implying a lack of individuality, diverse thought, or internal complexity, often used disapprovingly to highlight rigidity or conformity within a collective like a society or organization. Now, I ain't gonna cap you down. We absolutely, as Black people, have made ourselves into a monolith. And when somebody's sexuality, Blackness, or relevancy, their name even is brought up to be used as this thing to say you actually belong, that you are important, or what you're saying matters, I believe we should in America have a problem with that. Like I said, being in the land of the free and the home of the brave, in quotes, definitely has its limits. I mean, we've seen everything that's happened since 2020. The whole idea of making America great again, all of these things that can be very dangerous to us as a people. We cannot, and I repeat, we cannot lose what is to be said as our individuality. You should be able to think, feel, and act upon in any way that is different from the person next to you. But when it comes to somebody being treated as inhumane, less than human, or when it involves harming another person, we got to be very careful about the stances that we actually take in life. And as I look at this Corey Holcomb situation, the Anton Daniels situation, Black people, and I say this respectfully as a Black person, my ear to the street, so to speak, my cultural relevancy should never be brought into question because I don't agree with how somebody does something. We've come a very long way, a very, very long way from sitting at the back of a bus, voter rights, all of these things, for us to argue about menial things as to the quality of what an individual may be on a platform that is purely meant to entertain. Let me check out my comments really quick. I don't want to get too far off track. Auntie says, speak, nephew. I appreciate you. A voice for a Black nation. I mean, I don't know if that's a cosign, but I appreciate it. Wow. I just had to hold my tongue and not go back to being a Peter. Old cousin Peter. But yes. So when we look at this, I say, as a man, I will never be bullied into going with the general consensus, no matter the names called or the threats made. Celebrity shouldn't be the measure by which we govern our lives and view other people. And if we look at social media, this is the world that we live in. We determine what's what's culturally appropriate, what's cool, what trends to follow by social media. Nobody looks outside their door anymore and determines what they're going to put on by the weather. You know, Black people, we're going to put that hand to the window. We're going to stick a hand out the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the things grandma taught us, man. Put your hand on that window and see how cold it is outside. We don't do that anymore. Everything is based off of what what Jim Jones think, what Corey Holcomb think, what this person wears in this mag is kind of goofy if we really think about it. We start to dumb ourselves down in how we view life and how we actually live it. If you're not careful, there starts to be this amalgamation, if you will, this meshing of who we actually are versus what the world tells us that we are. So, with that being said, how much of what we discuss, and please put your answer in the chat here, how much of what we discuss or act upon is based on our original thought? We understand social media, I get that, and everybody swears black people aren't a monolith, but I have to be on board with what you say when you say it. How much of what you actually think about the world around you is based on what you actually think of and feel truly inside of your heart, mind, body, soul, spirit? So, and with that being said, we're going to get into this video because as we talk about Corey Holcomb, and I'm not here to sway you, right? I'm going to present the facts like most people do. And from that, you can then tell me what it is that you think about old Corey Holcomb. So I give you your first video clip.
You got a picture of his daughter? I'm a dirtbag. You got a picture of his daughter?
That nigga got a picture.
This motherfucker bragged on not having no children out of wedlock. What happened, D? It crashed.
The Holcomb incident.
Froze.
Now,
That's the broad.
I was told.
Y'all can get the broad off. That's his daughter. This man said he ain't got no children out of wedlock. Nigga,
That's Cool Mo
don't.
daughter.
That's who?
Not Cool Mo D, Cool Mo daughter.
That's the air up there, nigga. Look,
go
nigga, let me tell you
downtown.
something. Don't make no more kids, nigga. That bitch gonna be buying pussy like you after a while. If you don't know, nigga, don't ever brag on no motherfucking what you ain't got. Don't nobody want no kids with you, nigga. Don't nobody want no kids with you. Your prime years, you was a scammer, nigga. You was doing scams. Now that you older and found a way to manipulate, get dude off the screen. Get dude off the screen, man. Who the fuck is that, nigga? This motherfucker cat. I'm the captain now. Look at it. Hey, look. Let me tell you something. Don't make no more daughters, dog. You got to make it where your shit come out with a boy so he can make excuses for him. But
So, yeah, I think that's. Here's my question. Is the idea of there being honor amongst thieves one of those things that is a made up thought process? Is that a real thing? I'm from the school. I swear every time I do this, I'll be about to let my laptop go dead. But I'm from the school of thought, man, of a Tony Montana. No women and children. No women and children, bro. And, Corey said it. I'm just agreeing with it. I think Corey's a dirtbag. I really do. And I'm not saying, that's not shock value. That's not you said it. So when you give me the thought, I then go with it. What's the point? What is the little girl, whether she was in wedlock, out of wedlock, he even brought up the wife, talked about it, invited her to, be one of his 6 top. He ain't she ain't in the top 5. She's a part of the 6 though. Is this what y'all want to co-sign? Because for the last show, when I did this, when I talked about the Corey versus Anton situation, I had so much hate and vitriol. I was soft. I'm a sissy. I'm a punk. I'm gay. I like white men. But we co-sign guys who move like this is less than integral. So I would then have to ask, do you co-sign? Would you want your brother, your best friend, to be somebody who moved like this? Who says, how many people are cool with somebody saying, hey, man, when I meet him, hey, shake my hand, like, man, I'm a scumbag? How many people are cool with that? Since we acting like that's the way things are supposed to go. Ms. Reese got a comment. She said that's low and he shouldn't do that. Leave the kids out of it. Well, but see, somebody gonna go in the comments and won't call you out your name, and you know, there has to be a level of resolve that we have where this ain't it. And I got more clips. Don't you worry your pretty little head, kinfolk. We got more from Corey Holcomb. This knight in shining armor. As I skip ahead a little bit, who said he was a soldier in the army of God. Funny. All right, we got another comment. He says Anton is wrong for exploiting his black people all the time. 90% of his content is based on black people mistakes. And he never talks about how to help them, always puts us down. Corey is a comedian. So all right, okay. And who is this? I don't want to mess your name up. Bianca Witherspoon. So here's my thing, right? I'm assuming that you are a woman, and I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm like, I can't, I'm assuming that Bianca is a woman. So I got some more clips to show you. And the end of the matter is people are human, people have flaws. But when you take certain approaches, you only typecast yourself into certain stereotypes or schisms that are said about us as black people. So let me get back to my notes. I got another clip for you, but I want to say this. So I asked, some stuff is just a character flaw, right? So here's my next question. Are we okay with men beating women in today's society for any reason outside of if your life is in imminent danger, where they got a gun to your head, a knife to your throat, or they are seriously causing you harm? I'm not saying it's okay to ever put your hands on women, but I'm saying there are certain situations where you might have to get somebody off of you if it's justifiable based off of what may be going on in the situation, right? And you probably should never be in a situation with that person ever again, not alone with them in a relationship, anything. Are we okay with men putting their hands on women for using words? That's my question, right? And as you put an answer in the chat or you think about that, I want to show you this. That's Corey Holcomb. That's the woman he's into it with. He just cold cocked the woman in the face. And for all those who have comments, we will be getting to those. But now what we're seeing is a melee breaking out because Corey Holcomb decided to cold cock a woman in the face for whatever she said. I didn't see what happened before this. We only have the context of the video. It looks like everybody had calm nature going on, and it was just a disagreement. But it looked like it got took to the next level. So no need to replay it again. But that's the long and short of it. So before I continue on with the show, question. If we end up getting context that woman said something about his dead grandma, or maybe she said that he sucks the penis of black people. Maybe she's second. This could be an old clip, whether it's old or new. I'm just saying, is this what we're okay with in our society today from men, especially tall, physically imposing black men to other women? Now, we in the protect black women era, right? Culture that we should be protecting black women at all costs, regardless. But this is that era, right? So why was it just one guy seeking to defend this situation, right? And let me see what we got here. You said correct, and then you said no. Flavor Sweet said no. You said just walk away. Bro, I don't care how many times you put that comment up, I'm not highlighting it. Y'all gotta grow up and stop being so lame, bro. He already been to court for that incident and it was dismissed. Do your research first and stop just talking. No. I can't talk about what I don't know. See, this is what I'm talking about, though. See, James Coleman, right? James Coleman, thank you so much. This is what I'm talking about, right? Do your research and stop just talking. So you're saying you're complicit with this, right? Regardless. Bro, I've been threatened to my face by my spouse about what she was going to, and she can fight, I ain't gonna hold you, but about what she was going to do, all of these things. And if I would have put my hands on a woman, and this ain't the only video, this ain't even about making this video. I showed a different video, but see, y'all Corey Holcomb Avengers, y'all are a part of the reason why I said we are definitely a black monolith, because I can't voice an opinion that's against your great Corey. I don't care if he's a comedian. I don't care for his platform. But see, people just get to say what they want, right? And it's cool when I'm watching a show and then people tell me that, oh, okay, well, you invited somebody. You said that, oh, he kisses this. And then somebody else says, oh, well, you suck this. And then it's like, oh, it's a level. It's levels to this. It's like, man, y'all goofy to me, bro. Y'all goofy to me. Right? People come and they seek to be, so you're saying that this went to court and this got dismissed. Awesome. I'm not saying I want to see people go to jail. But is this not a character flaw? Right? It talking about people's children and wives that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. See, you're the same person who said, oh, well, he gave him a pass. No. It's not. See, but I'm going to get to y'all's comments. But see, y'all love saying, oh, so OJ, oh, yes, OJ, he got acquitted. We were just celebrating because a black person got off. Didn't matter if he was really a scumbag or not. See, that's what I'm talking about black people. And then I'm every name in the book because I'm like, nah, bro, we got to actually see what's what here. Not everybody that gets acquitted for something should be acquitted. And I'm not even talking about Corey here. I'm just saying in general, people make bad decisions in life. I get that. And not everybody should be burned at the stake for the decisions that they make. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is people don't even do the due diligence of looking at what's being said on the platform. It's just, oh, you this, you that, blah, blah, blah. Well, y'all do the exact same thing if that's the case. I'm not, oh, but I'm supposed to go do all of the research. Man, listen, I seen a story. I'm presenting this to you. If you got something to add to it, then do that. Thank you. Appreciate it. Look. Hey, man, bro, you. Let's see what you say. Am I? I asked a question. I showed a video and asked a question. James Coleman. See, that's soft energy, bro. I showed a video and I asked a question. You provided context to it. My question still, is that acceptable? See, here's the thing, right? If I do something to one of my kids, if I harm one of my kids, right? But I go to court, like it's proven I harm my kids, right? And I go to court and for some reason it gets, police enter my house inappropriately, improperly, improper search and seizure, whatever it is. Does that, oh, well, they acquitted me though, right? So no harm, no foul. That's y'all's logic to stuff. And my point is that can't be the end all be all for everything. I just asked you a question. He told me he was a scumbag on the first video that I posted. What you want me to do with that? Y'all got to stop caping for grown men so much. I'm asking a question. Okay, so let me see what Corey Fisher says. He was acquitted for this. She put her finger on his face when He already been to court for this. That one guy was her man. So do you have the video of when she put her finger in his face? Because from what we saw, they were just talking, and then he stole off on her. Like, and I'm not being funny. I'm serious. Like, dude, is there a video? Did I miss something on that video? Like, I get it, man. I get it, but you said that's the point. I'm talking about. Okay, if I said he should have went to prison, and I never said that. I showed a video and I asked a question. When you look at laws, when you look at like being a police officer, right, or something like that, you start talking about like what you can do to somebody. There's terms like use of force and things of that nature, right? Use of force is going to be determined on a continuum. That continuum is going to be based off of what somebody actually, if what I did to you justifies me using a worse or a stronger use of force, that is determined by what actually preceded me doing something to you, right? So if I'm going to use a choke out or something like that, right, it's got to be preceded by something that put me in imminent danger. My point is, regardless of what you're telling me, looking at this video, and there's other videos, I ain't talking about that. It's not about trying to condemn Corey about this. I'm just, somebody look at the clips that I am being presented for some from his podcast for me to be whatever names that I've been called. And it's like, if I'm just presenting content and asking a question to the group of people who may be in here, why is what other people do justifiable? TJ, what's the deal, man? So Sacred J said Corey is a bully and abusive to women. So, okay. So, like I said, I'm presenting what I've seen, right? So if that don't tickle your fancy, right? Cool. All right. I don't have context, right? Although the only thing I'm missing from that is actual voice, lyrics, or whatever it may be, audio that I'm missing from that. Or, yeah, okay, somebody said that she put her finger in his face. I didn't see that, but cool. So what about this?
You know why his plan didn't work? And I've told y'all before. I'm a chosen soldier of God. His plan didn't work. He thought he was gonna get me. It didn't work. He didn't have the courage to make his plan work. All he had to do when I was right there, say I suck dick again. He didn't have the courage to follow through with his plan. I got bitches with more courage than him. I got a bitch who was talking to me crazy. Shut your bitch ass up, Corey. I was, hey, don't say that. Shut your bitch. I said, say bitch ass again. She said, shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Now, after we wiped her lip off from what was dripping out of it, we was fucking again. And I told her, I can't really be around you no more because I can't control you. You crazy. You really are who you say you are.
Okay. First of all, like I said earlier, you're a soldier in the army of the Lord. Awesome. But somebody used their words. This is the second occasion that we've heard somebody said they used a woman used their words. From what we see, I didn't see a finger. I don't know if your finger was used to put him in his lip or his face. All right, okay, cool. But she called him out his name. Something happened that because of the terminology, we're taking it as, well, we don't know. Well, it was just, it's all comedy. So the blood that was on her lip, they cleaned it up. They went back to what grown folks do. And then, I can't deal with you because I can't control you. I just, once again, bro, like, I get it. I'm cool, man. But it's like, there's no real standard to how we view life anymore. And I mean, who knows if there ever was. Like, if we going back to the inception of this country, it certainly wasn't based off of fairness or equality or humaneness and all of those things, right? But if we're not careful, those things all kind of get muddied up by stuff like this, where now it's just in the name of comedy. I get it that the video's a year old. I've never seen a video or heard of the video until now. No. I cannot I can't make an inference about what's going on in the video without watching the video. All I did was look at the video. This is what happened. She got socked. Somebody said she put a finger in his face. She got socked. Somebody said the boyfriend was the one who went on with the fight. That's all I had for it. I don't know what was said or what was done. Nobody knows that context except for the people that were there. So it's just the idea that, once again, it's like you really want to be combative with me in the comments. It's like, bro, just shut up about it. Shut up about it. I listen to people, regardless of what they really thought about Corey or about Anton. There was a group of people who I wasn't really around or talked to that thought that may agree with Anton, right? And those were probably people from his community. And then there were another group or sect of people that ride with Corey. And of course, Corey has a much larger following. Corey, for all intents and purposes, has the ear of black people. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. I'm not saying every black person in America, but he got a large group of people that just rock with who he is, you know what I'm saying, and what he presents. But I think we should be careful about surmising everything to just being about comedy. He's a comedian. That can't be the guise by which we actually judge this stuff. So what is that? So you said he didn't get off on a technicality. What does that mean though? I'm cool with whatever. I mean, cool, but what does that mean is what I'm really asking, Corey. I'm not being funny or trying to be, short, but it's like, what does that mean? You said, how do you think it got bro, you said, how do you think it got dismissed? Like, people don't just get stuff dismissed on a regular basis, bro. Like, we got to knock this off, bro. This is America. Like, stop saying peace. I'll let you. Yeah, I'm out. All right, bye, bro. Like, man, y'all boys, man. And this was the very point of the beginning of this, right? It doesn't matter how much context you have. It doesn't matter how much of a point that you actually have to make about a situation. If people don't want to agree with you, if people just are going to ride with whoever they ride with, that's what they're going to do. And you have the right to do that. I don't got a problem with you doing that. It's the way that we decide to go about the things that we want to go about and having a disagreement about anything. It's like, hey, the sky blue. Boy, it ain't as purple. It's like, all right, bro. That's literally the world that we live in these days. So Bianca said, he is wrong, I guess, for what we just saw and didn't get to hear. That's one isolated incident. He's wrong. But to constantly talk about the wrongs of no one but your own people is giving to Django. So on the last show, I definitely talked about where I even saw before Corey gave greater context about Anton and what he did or didn't say concerning his white counterparts, right? And I ain't gonna lie, it stuck out to me initially at first as well, because I'm like, well, you say you got smoke for everybody, equal opportunity, right? But it's like, well, what do you have to say? Like, and mind you, I think it just can become a childish game when it's like, prove to me how black you are. Prove to me that what you say, you gonna say something negative about them too. It's like, well, what's the presentation of it, right? Because if in this instance, if Corey was the point of emphasis for Anton, then it's like, because people were in the comments saying like he made it a point to say that he came on there to agitate Corey, that he didn't really, it wasn't even about having an understanding. He wanted to get up under Corey's skin. So I guess in that instance, my question would be, well, what is the point of trying to make him do that if you know that's not what he on? Because the people who ride with Corey and the people who are against Anton already know that to be true about him. Now, I've seen him on platforms. I thought he's overdone. It's a false bravado that I've seen for sure from Anton, that it's like a false confidence of like hiding behind your money. It's like he got into it with this white guy in a some type of shop, food shop or something. And it's like everything has to result back to you broke, I'm rich, I get in my nice Porsche and I go to my rich neighborhood and go to my big house. And it's like, what does that really say about you though as a man? That doesn't prove anything. And most of the time that is the take that some of our white counterparts take anyway. Now, where people took the stance that they took last time was because I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to take the stance of I hate all white people. Like, I just don't get what we get out of that personally. Now, if you choose to, if your experiences with them is overwhelmingly negative and hateful and disrespectful, I'm not here to tell you to feel anything different, because you probably got it made up in your mind that's how it's going to be. I've ran into both sides of the fence. I've seen the ones who are hateful and negative and racist, and I've seen some who will give you the shirt off their back, and they are very kind and loving people. And so my question is, if you have lived in that world, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, literally, what are you supposed to do with that information? If your experience has been pretty mixed. And if I'm being honest, I probably done ran into more of the hateful negative ones than the loving kind ones too. So I'm like, are you supposed to match the energy? Is that the 2026 plan, is just to match the energy? You good, brother. There's just more to the story that's not in the video. And here's the thing. For people who aren't negative, hateful, disrespectful, right? I'm all for the dialogue, Corey Fisher. I really am. I'm all for it. And I'm not, okay, so let's just say something else happened, right? Let's say something happened before that and she did the food, she did whatever. It's like, I still ain't going to tell you that I justify him doing something to her, right? Because I'm like, you had a choice to walk away, right? You could have just, all right, you got that, or you got to go get your sister, your cousin, I don't know, right? Somebody that is more matching in genetic DNA makeup, muscle structure, bone density, all of that, right? But it's like, okay, I could at least be understanding of the information I didn't know. But people that want to just start saying names and you talking crazy, it's like, bro, that's soft to me, bro. Like, I'm sorry, that's just soft, bro. Like, have a conversation. How you go straight to the whatever? Presenting content and formulating an opinion without context is dangerous. Let me ask you a question. James. We got to be real here, right? Now, I could present you, as I've done with 2 different videos already, that did have context, that did give word and language. I watched the totality of the podcast clips and all of that. That ain't dangerous, right? And a lot of the things, if a person is telling you this is who I am, this is how I move, y'all ain't nobody got nothing to say about that, right? But it's like, what do you think people do on social media all day with 30, 60, 90-second clips? They are not I know, because people do it to me. They don't click on links and actually watch full podcasts, watch and get the whole context of what it is. So if I, as a man, no different than you as a man, if I can look at a clip and say, I'm going to be honest, I don't care what she said or did in the video clip that I saw, walk away, bro. Cool, I get it. He got dismissed. I'm not saying I wanted him to go to prison. That's what be weird about people. It's like, y'all's deductive reasoning be so strange to me, because it's like, you're going to tell me what I was saying versus what I'm actually saying. Or you could ask for clarity on what I'm saying. But it's like, bro, it just got dismissed, bro. It's like, cool, bro. I get it. I actually even said this could be an old video. I literally said this could be an old video. But guess what? That does not matter in the I'm going to say it like this, bro. If somebody harms my children, right? And unless it was a situation where they did something in the moment to that person or the situation, I'm going to have a problem with somebody who handled that situation like Corey did. And I don't think that's not dangerous. That is just a person who has an opinion about how people carry themselves or how a man handles a woman or vice versa. I'm not saying that women are these innocent doves that should just go uncorrected. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like, what we don't ever seek understanding as people. That was literally another statement that I made at the beginning of this episode. We don't seek understanding on many things. We choose to just be combative and call people out their name and be hateful and negative, and then say, because you don't agree with it or see it the way I see it, you're this. Literally proving my point. Several interactions took place before this altercation. Okay. Several interactions. Are these things for public consumption? Like, these are things that have been put out on the internet? And I'm just asking, Corey, from me to you, bro. Forget what everybody else talking about. From me to you. Are you telling me that no matter what you did see from him is justifiable because of whatever those other altercations are? Because at that point, I would absolutely want to see what it is that you believe was justifiable in him doing whatever he did. Bro, I don't listen. Here's what I'm telling you, bro. I can look it up and I could still say, oh man, she called him out his name, man. She put her finger in his face. I'm still gonna come back and say, bro, you probably should have just walked away, bro. You should have just walked away, bro. But you're telling me what you own. I get that. Okay, so Corey, who wants to give actual context to anything here and just say, oh, you being lazy. Okay, bro. All right. You're giving me a challenge in a good way that I'll receive. She has done this to several guys. So is she like bag chasing? I mean, is she trying to get lawsuits? Is that what that was? Oh, that's fire. You can show clips during lives. Yeah, I had to figure some stuff out, T, because otherwise I was gonna have to share my screen. So I had to figure out another way to do it to where I could just show the clips without having to share my screen, because it can be a headache. Look, this dude here. Look up the court transcripts, player. Send them to me, bro. Or are you being lazy? He said he just muffed her. I ain't gonna lie, my boy. That look closed fist. I ain't gonna lie to you. But either way, I'm not saying either one of them still is okay. But I get what you're saying. So here's where, once again, bro, and I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what your point is at this juncture of the conversation, because I literally posted the clip and asked a question, right? So if you felt like what I presented or the question that I asked wasn't the right question to be asked, that's where you should have started from. It's like getting into it with somebody, bro. Somebody step on your shoe. Maybe they did or didn't know they stepped on your shoe, and you just still off on them. And I'm not relating this to the Corey situation. I'm saying in our dialogue, it's like you can provide context if you're not the lazy one, but you choose not to. Just tell me, oh, go do this, go do that. It's like, all right, bro, cool. Got it. You say he didn't soccer. All of that is in court transcripts. At the end of the day, right is right. At the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. That's what we get. That's what we get into sketchy quarters, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. She had been provoking him. I'm with you on that, bro. Corey, I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. And to this point, right? When you talk about being in relationships, you talk about dating, you talk about marrying somebody, you talk about making somebody your old lady in any regard, right? If it's somebody that has that type of nature on them, that's not somebody I want to be around in any large context, because things like this can get you jammed up in a major way. And all I'm saying is, as men, right? I'm just, forget that situation, right? I'm saying as a man, to Corey, to James, right? As men, when do we say, yeah, bro, I gotta get out of there, bro? Now, yeah, you know better, you do better, I get all of that. But a lot of the situations that we end up putting ourselves in are based off of pride. Because you ain't finna talk to me no kind of way, or I'm a man, you gonna respect this, you ain't. And it's like we end up in situations like this where court shouldn't have even been a real thing. I can respect a man who can take a lump and keep on going. And I ain't even saying physically. I'm talking about somebody who gonna call you out your name. It's like, bro, everything doesn't warrant a response. But a lot of things, we ain't go, especially if you're not somebody who follows any one of these particular camps. Like you every day you tuning in, every day you locked in, right? I think I'm able to formulate my own opinions about a lot of things based off of the reality that I'm not going to be overly consumed of anybody's platform. I'm a podcaster. I mean, I consume them. Like I listen to podcasts, all of those things, right? But even within that, there's going to be stuff that I listen to, some stuff I don't listen to. Some people content ain't for my ear. But if it's something that's pop culture, popular topic, if I think I have an outer perspective on it, I'm going to chime in on that, right? If I want to, if I so choose. But it's like, we just got to be careful, bro. Like as men, these type of stories, we need to fight to not be in these situations as much as we are defending ourselves when people are poking and prodding us and being disrespectful to us, because that is a part of the plan. And if you up here, if you intellectually here, if you understand things on a different plane, then that should be a different approach that we take to this stuff. Okay, let me see if I want to pull this comment up. It says, if the same video you are watching was presented in court, don't you think there may be something there that you possibly aren't privy to? I mean, yeah, I believe that's true of almost every in most situations, for sure. But once again, I think for you, right? If you would have led with, man, okay, this is what happened, boom, 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 blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, you got the answers, but it's like, no, go get the answers yourself. It's like, bro, just tell me if you got something to add to the conversation. You keep just, well, I read the transcripts, I have the information. It's like, okay, bro, awesome. What does that do for us? This stuff is meant to create dialogues. It may not always start out in the dialogue that you like or the one that you feel is the most fruitful for you at that time, but it's like, man, bro, at least contribute something to it. I don't know what modern day is. I'm not gonna lie to you. Ain't that the question you need to be asking, Anton? What question is that? I don't know. People like to provoke, then don't like the consequences. Absolutely, that's life. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. That is absolutely life, my bro. That is how the cookie crumbles. You know what I'm saying? There is, man, my ex told me something, right? After years of a few different types of abuses, right? I ain't, except for physical, I ain't putting no smut on nobody, right? But after years of certain levels of abuse, what I would categorize or characterize as a level of abuse, right? The statement was, "Well, I didn't know. I thought because you were a man, you could handle that." Right? So I absolutely get and understand situations that people could put you in, things that could be said that could ruffle and rile feathers. I literally have been there, and I ain't saying that I may not have ever did anything physically, but my words cut sometimes to the bone worse than a punch or a kick ever could. All I'm saying though is, do we care about getting to a place where we get above that? I don't ever want court to be in my future. I don't want jail. I don't want none of that stuff in my life, bruh. And so I choose to process and handle things a certain way as a result of that. But I think us as Black people, sometimes we have so much pride in our name, and your name matters. But I think what are you willing to do to preserve it sometimes can be dangerous. That's what I'll say. Because it might mean inflicting some on somebody. And I'm not saying sometimes people learn lessons the rough way. I'm just saying when it comes to the women, let's be a little more careful. Who said they hate all white people? I mean, I don't misquote me there. I'm saying in general though, that starts to kind of be the thing. I never said James hates all white people, so don't do that. I'm saying it's like that seems to be like when you have a mixed bag of experiences, what do you use to gauge how you view people? And so for me, if I said, like, one guy, and he was a cool dude, but he basically said like, "Oh, well, you ain't lived enough life yet." And it's like, because I don't hate white people? Because my point was, I can only take the experiences that I have to make the judgments on life. My experiences. But it's like, if our experiences aren't similar, I'm a coon, I'm racist, I'm this or I'm that, or I'm a white lover used in this negative connotation because I don't hate them. That's what was kind of matriculating from the last show. And so my point is, it's like I appreciated what Corey said. It's like, man, we can agree to disagree. So that's what I'm saying. And I think Corey finna have a back door on this when he say, most definitely not justified morally. However, through the courts, it was justified. Understood. And so here's my due diligence as a journalist, in a sense, right? I'll look that up. But let me say this statement. I want to preface it before I say it. If it look like a duck, walk like a duck, talk like a duck, it got webbed feet, it's a duck, man. And I know that we live in a society that can paint a picture a certain way. Present evidence. If you disagree, present it. Do the opposite, and then let's see what it is. Hold on. Oh, buddy tripping. He said, so because everybody else do it, it's okay for you to do it. You part of the problem, player. What are you talking about? No, that's not what I'm saying. Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I think you seek to be on opposing sides. He said, nigga, I'm headed to your studio right now and gonna bring the Anton energy. Okay. What? All right. He said, yes, there are witnesses. He said, not justified morally. All right. Some of y'all be saying weird stuff, and I'm like, I guess. You said what you gonna do. You said what you gonna do without reading the transcript. No, I said what I'm gonna do. No, I mean, once again, we're talking about presenting information, right? I'll say, even as any reporter, you're not gonna always get all of that stuff right. I think you definitely do your due diligence. My point in it is, when you couple that with something else, starts to look real similar, regardless of what you say, whether it's on camera or not. Yes, trying to jug for his bag. Don't stop being a follower. Do your research first. Yeah, bro. I think we done. I think we done with you, bro. You just a soft dude. I respect your perspective. What? Oh, okay. Thank you, bro. Hey, Corey, you're a mature man that I can have a conversation with. We were talking about Corey Holcomb, and a couple of the things that we've seen from some video clips. We still got more video clips to talk about. It is what it is. He says, it's most definitely a duck. I feel you. Exactly. So yeah. He says, yes, they say topped at the Kevin. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Anyway, so we'll move on, right? So I think we only got one more clip left, right? And this is from, and then this is what so to the point of everything we've been talking about, right? Everybody swears that they need the most context in the world. What we got at a certain point was Darlene, when he asked Darlene about what the interaction was between Anton and Mika, I'm going to show you a clip from her podcast. It was never said. I don't care. Like, here's my thing, bro. People can be wrong, right? I could be wrong. People could be wrong. Not tripping. But it's like, all I heard was people say what they felt, right? Oh, well, it was definitely interesting. I mean, he didn't say, oh man, they kissed when they was in the car, or, they were seen having dinner, whatever you could justify as being the reason why you're looking at this girl crazy, right? Or y'all are bringing whatever you think about a situation. You said, and what was said was that Anton pulled up. Whether they were in the same car or not, that one was a little shaky for me. I can't remember if they was in the same car. I think they were in different cars, right? But Anton introduced himself to Darlene, and Mika walked straight for the door. Does that sound tricky on the outside? Yes. I'm not saying that it doesn't. But what does it say, though? Do I not have enough context that I need to go see where she flew in from? Do I need to go backtrack and see what hotel that she lived at? That she stayed at when she came in town? Did she actually come in town on that day? We pick and choose when we actually want to get all of the details and what we gonna come up with, what our thought process is, and all of those things. So with that being said, I want to pull up the clip and what she said about her experience, because there is a greater point to everything else that I am saying or have said. So here we go.
I hear explain the bitch and this bitch on my show. I don't know who she is. Alluding to the fact that I'm just here and it's somebody's side chick. And I'm nobody's side chick. So it was very unfortunate and very hurtful. That I can tell you. That was my feeling from the experience. But with all that being said, I can say this. I still don't have anything negative to put out about Corey Holcomb or the 5150 show.
Okay. So is anything that Corey said or did concerning that young lady justified? And I know the Corey Holcomb apologists. I already know that y'all gonna go to the aid, but I'm asking a question. We watched the podcast, watched everything she had to say, watch what Corey had to say about her, right? So for all those who feel like the context wasn't given, hindsight. And pardon me for anybody. I didn't give a disclaimer for all of the language, right? My auntie, my lady, I apologize for all of anybody who ain't privy or don't care for that type of language. I do apologize for that. Those were what the clips presented though. So was that justifiable? To call her all the stuff you called her, she the side chick. Now maybe just maybe she lying through her teeth. And she's on that platform just to get views or like. Here's the thing that I wanted to say as well, right? You know, people will come on, they'll come onto the platform and they'll say, "Oh, you clout chasing," and "Oh, you trying to." Anybody who is putting out content, no matter how big or small your channel is, no matter how known or unknown your name is, you are putting out the info, you're putting out the content to get eyeballs to your channel, ears to your podcast, sponsors, brand deals. You're trying to promote something. Stop the goofiness of I don't care if somebody do a reaction video to me and say this is the stupidest dude I ever heard, blah blah blah. Awesome, bro. Is he clout chasing off of me because there's 50 people in the live? Who cares? So regardless of what her reason was for her platform that she appears to already have, let her do what she do. Like, yeah, of course, who don't want to come on a platform where you can get more eyes on you to drag people, to pull people back to what you're talking about? So cool, she chose to be an adult and she don't hold nothing against him and whatever. That could still be a greater player opportunity for her to, you know, come on the platform at a later date, speak her piece, get in good with Corey or the team. I don't know. But my question is, for all those people who feel so justifiable for everything else that Corey does, do we still know, in fact, that that woman is some type of home wrecker, some type of, you know, she's some side piece? And if the answer is you don't know, then if you don't know, but you're going to say yes, if you weren't there, because see, that's where we have to start going with this stuff. Well, if you didn't see her check into the lobby of the hotel, if you didn't see her go in by herself, if ain't no cameras to show that she, read the transcripts, bro. And I know it ain't transcripts like court, but it's like, come on, man. My question from the very beginning when I watched the clip is, so we're just going to assume that that's his side piece. Now, why I believe that she showed love and respect to Corey still and not Anton is because, number one, you probably lied to me about me being on the show in the first place. You didn't protect me in that way from whatever he had to say or do, which didn't mean that it had to be physical in a physical altercation, but just a real introduction to, hey, this is such and such, man. This ain't my lady or nothing, man. We just, you know, somebody I want to partner with, do business with, whatever. She has a platform. Is it okay if she can come on the show? If there was never a formal introduction between Corey, Anton, and Mika, then that's the real issue there. You made a promise that you couldn't keep to somebody who flew in. Now, if she didn't fly in just for that, then that's between y'all, right? But don't have all the stuff to say in the world as if you're trying to preserve him, his marriage, and all of this stuff. You're trying to give him an out when all you did was go talk about his wife and child on the next podcast and say you're a scumbag. Where's the balance in that? That's, to me, that's not honorable. That's goofy behavior. But we okay with people saying that they scumbags and talking down on people. They don't have no proof. And in a lot of instances with the kids and the wife, they ain't got nothing to do with anything. But y'all accept that stuff from him. Let me go to the comments. And we're going to move on here, honestly. We're going to move on here because I definitely want to talk some rap stuff. Honestly, this is the problem. Y'all getting mad because he had an opinion. Corey did some goofy stuff regardless. I don't know who you are, GDJJ777, but God bless your life, my brother. God bless your life. Do you hear me? That's the whole point. You getting mad defending somebody else like it's your boyfriend, like it's your girlfriend, when the reality is something wrong was still done here. We got to stop acting like we got to know all the facts all the time to know that somebody was out of pocket, bro. That was goofy behavior. And time again, the recurring theme is Corey is saying things that don't match up with who he says he is. You're a soldier in the army of the Lord, or you this honorable, integral guy. You cut a certain way. But then the things that you do and the way that you behave yourself is less than admirable. But I'm sorry, I'm supposed to have all the facts. Who is she? Her name is Mika. She has a podcast. I don't remember the name of it, but she was the person that was in the studio at the time when Corey and Anton got into it. She said she was supposed to be on the show. Anton had promised her she was going to be on the show. She flew in to be on the show, but then that didn't happen. And so, you know, she spoke out about it, essentially. Not spoke out about it because I think she was just saying, hey, I didn't appreciate them calling me those things. But I think in another way, she's kind of saying like that wasn't his responsibility to get an understanding of who I was or why I was there. That was Anton's job. And that's probably why she didn't say anything favorably about him. He was mad at Anton, so he was just going in. You know, they get paid for drama. Yeah, no, and I'm with that. And that was the issue. So no, I get that, right? But that my question is, when is it too far in the name of content creation? That's my question. When do we draw a line in the sand to say, all right, bro, for me as a man, right? Like I think on the first show, I might have said some stuff back to some people, and it was done real demure. You feel me? But I say, you know what? Yeah, that could get some more clicks and some stuff, but I'm not willing to go there, right? So if I do really feel something about somebody being soft in the comments or something like that, cool. I'll share what I think. I might tell you I think you're a little soft, right? But overall, though, I ain't gonna go to the extent that you're willing to go to prove a point. And I'm just saying that should be the norm for us moving forward. Osiris the Great, 1776, said Christianity made you men soft. We get it, Osiris. You're a tough man. You're a strong man. You Osiris, Oshun. We get it, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you. He's definitely the common denominator. And I'm assuming you're talking about Anton. For sure. And I don't like his platform, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm not an Anton fan. I'm not. I think anybody who leads with I ain't black first. I'm a Christian, and it's like listen, here's the thing. I think it's kind of hard to deny being born a man first, right? Because you have to make a choice in what you believe in once you're born. I ain't mad at what he said. I think I'm mad at the fact that nothing about how he moves embodies what being a Christian would actually represent. You're braggadocious about money, about who you are, what you have. We don't see the reality of this loving, kind representation of what Jesus was. Yeah, I get it. Y'all listen to T.I. on the podcast and, oh, well, Jesus kicked over tables and he whipped people. I get all of that, yes. But that was also righteous indignation in action for people misusing what was at that point in the temple, a house of prayer and healing. So overall, I get that, right? You know what I'm saying? Anton doesn't represent what he talks about. And if I'm being honest, that is the greatest disconnect with anybody in the things that they talk about on platforms, right? People want to know that what you profess is what you actually live out. even if in reality you ain't really living out what you profess in your own personal. In America, in our lives and times, we'll go talk about somebody cheating on their wife and then go cheat on our wife. Like that's just the reality of being a human. But we don't allow the flaws to be the thing that we lead with, to be honest, because there's actually more commonality amongst us than anything. So, with that being said, I just think, anyway, let me say this. Corey could be an amazing guy, but perception is everything. As men, as black men, the standard we live by, speak of publicly, should be something that shifts the narrative. Can I at least get somebody to agree with me on that? That we don't do the best job of putting a narrative out there that makes us look beneficial or appealing to the world. And I get it. People can say, who cares? Don't matter what people think or how they view us or blah, blah, blah. It does, though. And the danger, we talk about danger, the danger in it is saying that it doesn't matter. I'll just do what you do. What they do over there don't bother me. And now philia amongst children is something that's on the rise, and laws are trying to get put in place to make sure that it's a legal thing. So now, is that cool for that to be justifiable? Since, in the future, people could get dismissed or acquitted of doing acts like that because it's legal. We got to be careful not having boundaries around the things that we do and the standards that we actually uphold and take and hold true to in life. Because we don't see the threshold. And we could already be there. But we could get truly to a place where it's truly anything goes. So somebody has to draw a line in the sand at some point. All right, let's get to some of these comments. Said, Mr. Bogart said, no, Corey. He said, well, she first is okay, huh? I don't know what that means, but she first is okay, huh? I don't know what that means, bro. I told you guys social media is dangerous. It permits people to reveal all of the garbage in there for the sake of validation. Reveal all of their garbage in there for the sake of their validation. I don't know if that's a shot at me. I don't care. At the end of the day, my point is we all got flaws. And that's why we should have more humility to the way we approach life. We should be very careful on who and what we drag into our public platforms, because black men just don't have a good rep out here. So did you just get Jedi mind tricked by him? Who get Jedi mind tricked? Is this he bamboozled us? He tried to admit he wasn't black. Enough said. His soul is now white male driven. Are you talking about me? Are you talking about Anton? Bro, I'm gonna be honest. If this is about me, right? I be trying, bro. I really be trying with y'all. I think you are such an idiot. I'm not even being like, oh, okay. Boy, I was finna say, oh, all right, bro. It be so, and I apologize, because people, they'll just go for the gusto, and I'm like, bro, what? Okay, so you're saying Anton bamboozled us. So you're saying you've been following Anton, and basically it comes along that he was supposed to be a representation that he's not. And so now he's not black. His soul is now white male driven. I mean, that may be true, bro. It may absolutely be true. I don't know. I just know that a lot of the times, my bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what's the episode on Bad Boys with Martin where I think it was like, I don't know if he had got shot or he hadn't had sex with his wife, but he was just like, my bad, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't been getting no love at the house. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My bad, bro. I really do. I apologize, bro. I ain't never above apologizing. You know what I'm saying? But people say crazy stuff on the internet, bro. And here's the point of my platform. I'm being so serious with this, bro. There are things that I'll look back at on this episode and I wish I could take them back, right? Because I do believe in right journalism, right? Now I do have a thought process about Corey. I do. And I think that he has told us on here. I've looked at this episode. I got these clips outside of the fight, right? You're talking about putting your hands on a woman on your podcast in a joking manner and getting back to sex, right? Those are things as a man I can never be okay with. I'll never think that's honorable. That's not integral. That's low character. That's low morality for sure. And I think that we gotta be better in that area of our lives as Black men specifically. And if you don't agree with that, if you don't like that, if you think that's weak or soft or whatever, then you truly are a part of the problem. Truly are a part of the problem. And Bianca said, it is true. Christopher said, this David Bailey out here with unhinged racism. I don't know if that's what it is, bruh. I don't know if that's what it is. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's unhinged racism. I don't think that's what it is. I think that Black people really want, it's kind of like if you're familiar with the Bible, it's the Israelites, right? Black people, much like the Israelites, want somebody to represent them. We can't all speak at one time, so it would be efficient for us to have a person that embodied everything that we thought was appropriate and necessary as Black culture, that could articulate well, that understands who we are, that ain't gonna get behind closed doors and make us look like fools for getting behind you. And I think the thing that what an Anton can do is he could talk the tough talk, the heavy talk, the money talk, right? The I got this, I'm a Christian, I do this, whatever, a hard whatever. But then when you get in other circles, you don't even represent us at all. And I believe that that's been a part of our trauma in public figures for far too long. And so I'm not even trying to speak for David in that way. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's a part of the issue. And so what we end up doing is accepting rough around the edge versions of, we don't necessarily agree with everything, but man, that's probably the purest version of what we got. It's like Corey ain't what we want really, but at least he true to who he is across the board. I'm not saying that should be acceptable. I'm just saying that means that as men, we should lift the standard in how we actually live our lives and what we present and how we present. That's why anytime I'm on cam, I would like to have a haircut. We snowed in. I don't get a haircut till Thursday, but I'm always trying to dress like Frank Lucas. You feel me? I'm always trying to dress like dude who invented blue magic. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't want no parts of the old drug. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, though, presentation matters. How we show up, how we speak, how we take care of our families, how we love on our wives, how we take care of our children, that stuff all matters, whether you agree with it or not, whether you understand it or not. And I just think that Anton and Corey, if we would take emotion out of it, if we would take familiarity out of it, those would never be men that we will want to represent or speak for us, even though they may have valid points at times. The things that make them rough around the edges, the things that make them less appealing would be things that we wouldn't accept from anybody in any other culture. And that is the dividing line. So why do we accept it from the people that look like us if we won't accept it from people that don't? I hope that makes sense. So Christopher said, everyone is free in Christ. Any nation of racial representation isn't biblical. Meaning that, well, so what do you mean by that? Because that's a whole nother conversation, but in heaven, there will be culture. Like whatever your culture is, like there will be distinction of culture in heaven. So I'm not saying that I disagree with what you're saying, but we will have culture in heaven. Like, that's a fact. You said spit that truth, brother. Okay, so he agreed with what I was saying. Okay, good. Yeah, I just think we're just tired of the bait and switch as black people. It's like, bro, you said you was for us. It's like, Barack, man, you said you was, man, you had the dope handshake and you speak well and you walk with the strut and the swagger, and then you ain't do nothing for us when you got in there, dog. Like, what's up? You said, I don't think of someone as a white man or black man. I think of them as a brother in Christ. So I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. But I also think we got to stop acting like the hue of someone's skin isn't something that's ever present. I'm not even going to say color, right, or race, because that was something that was created. But we have to stop acting like the hue of someone's skin isn't important to us in some degree. Because if I go into a room and I see white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, I am going to look for in that room typically, unless I know the people of different hues by name and have relationship with them, I am going to probably filter towards my hue subgroup, the people that look the most like me. That's reality. And so I don't disagree with you as being a believer that we should definitely approach life from a lens of, hey, you are my brother or sister. And that's where we actually go wrong in these conversations a lot of the times, because if the object of it, I know what you meant when you say Anton. I'm gonna pull your comment up here in a second too. But if the object of my hatred is based upon what you look like, we're doing nothing different than what our oppressor did in the inception of this country. So as black people, we have to be careful. Yeah, we're the most forgiving and all of that. Awesome. But we also have to be a little cautious, right? Because it's like the Sandra Bland situation, right? For those of you who may not be familiar with the cop that, you know, went to the wrong apartment and gunned somebody down. You know, the person that she killed was a black person, right? The brother said that he didn't want the woman to go to the officer to go to prison, right? Well, she should go to prison. Justice should still prevail even in the midst of grace and forgiveness, right? There was a crime that was committed. So therefore, regardless of color, regardless of the love of Christ, that person should go serve. Like, even in biblical times, people were punished for wrongdoing. And so those are the dividing lines that we have to kind of get an understanding of and live by. So that means that we have to have a whole understanding of what it means to be a human, even, right? It's like that person's family is still worthy of justice, regardless of if you forgive them or not. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. And I think I made a mistake about something, but we'll correct that later. So you said, Anton said, I'm a Christian first, then his mouth took off. Corey saw Corey on Anton when he said suck D. Now a week later, karma all in the air. Yeah, I agree with you. What do you, okay, so give me some context on that. In what way is karma in the air? What's the situation that happened? because I may be not privy to something here. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead and give me some context there. Oh yeah, you finna give me some facts that I already know. Musa, Moses, Aaron have had a dislike Aaron did for the hue that there is as old as them too. Tell them good. Tell me what? Each hue will know it's spring. Basically, people have been getting since ancient biblical times. People have been getting judged. Basically, Moses's wife was looked down upon because the hue of his wife's skin by his brother and his sister, and so God then put a curse on them as a result of that. So he prayed for him and things of that nature. So yes, what I'm saying is these things have existed, right? But in my honest opinion, before we move on to some music here, we will be getting into, I will briefly touch on the music that's coming out, how dope it is, and then we're gonna close this out with a nice little outro to put a bow on this. But yeah, man, I just think overall though we have to do a better job of looking at the whole picture as much as we possibly can. And I'm not averse to this. Like, it applies to me as well. You know, a lot of the times when I see somebody and I feel like you gave me overwhelming evidence that you ain't worth a darn, I stand on that. So it just is what it is, right? We all have our chance or whatever. So with that being said, do I have any people in here who love music, who love hip hop, who love rap? Now, I will be the first to tell you, I am an R&B fan first and foremost, but I love good music, period, right? And I do like rap, even though it is not my very first choice of music. Let me see what he said. Mary and grace is one thing. Mercy and grace is one thing, but justice is another. We show love to our neighbor by unconditional forgiveness, but we can't neglect that God will still enact justice against the transgression. Well said, my brother. Well said. It was perspective far as hue and race or type in the perspective as it varies. Absolutely. No, I get what you were saying too. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. And then David said, Anton going after Corey in lawsuit, kid and mother disrespected. Oh, see? Appreciate you, my brother, because I did not know this. I'm going to keep it real. I'm cool with Stephen A. Smith. Corey dissed his mom. I knew from there Corey garbage to me. Karma. Now know the lady. Yeah. Okay. So Anton disrespected Stephen A. Smith's deceased mom. Yeah, you out of pocket for that, bro. Yeah, see, and like I said, I ain't gonna lie. I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. I never was on Anton's train. I never thought he was really like that. It's just a certain way you carry yourself and speak that I just don't get with from him. You know what I'm saying? I just think it just don't give me that you are really like you even really like human beings for real. It seems like you don't like yourself and you don't like your people, if I'm being honest. So, but I asked, was there anybody who loved music in the room? Because I will just make quick reference to a few artists: T.I., Drake, J. Cole, and Wale. So for those of you who don't know, T.I. just dropped a video, let them know, and it gave us all the vintage Rubber Band Man trap essential flow and feel from that boy T.I. By all means, as soon as you get done, go check out all the things that I'm making reference to. Only one artist that I'm making reference to in Drake does not actually have an album that we know of or a single to actually help a rollout that's present in 2026. But T.I. does have an album that will be coming out this year called Kill the King. Now, he has said before that his next album was going to be his last album. T.I.'s been in the game for over 20 years, and he has made his mark calling himself the King of the South. And so for a lot of us, It was a bunch of back and forth between him, some Houston rappers, to if it was actually real, if your claim was relevant. But it's not so much that you make the claim that you the king, it's that you stand on a throne or sit on a throne for long enough to make it undisputable that what you say is what it actually is. So the reality is, where he said he got the name of the album from is in a conversation with Big Boy, half of Outkast, where he said, well, anybody can say anything essentially, but just know that you're going to have to hold true to the claims that you make about being the king of the South, and understand that if you are the king, somebody is going to come for your throne. And he likened it to the game of chess, where he said the object of the game is to kill the king. And he said he knew then and there as a 20-year-old that his last album will be called Kill the King. And so I'll be honest, I've not been a humongous T.I. fan in my life. I think he's highly intelligent. I think he tries too hard to use them words sometimes. I ain't gonna hold you. But I do believe he's he's a great businessman, obviously, family man, loves his children, still married to his wife, has been very open about his shortcomings and things of that nature through the music, which I could still also respect, and appears to have some level of faith to him in being a believer who likes to partake in the word, prayer to God, but doesn't necessarily care for the church going aspect of it. Said he's never been a church going man. He believes that a lot of it is cap, and the things that they present are a show, just like anything else that we attend in life. But overall, he gave us a dope song that I believe is going to probably prelude to him having a dope album to go out on. Much respect and salute to T.I. for what you represented to the culture, that you've had staying power, and that you always stood on who you were. Now, to move on, we got my boy Drake. Now, let me go look at these comments. David Bailey said he loves music. Awesome. Man, this is why I do what I do. To just give me a quick aside here, right? This is the network, the Mind of a Man network. I have 5 different actual shows that I do. Not all are currently in motion. I got my sports show that I'll be doing tomorrow if I can actually get back to this studio in one piece. I have the Late Night Shift Live that you're watching now. I have a show called Church Flow that I do once a week. And then I have an interview platform, and then I have the Mind of a Man podcast. So I don't have everything up and in motion right now, but the whole idea is we are not just one thing. Could I just do one show and that's it? Yes. But I get people that translate from platform to platform because we all are so diverse in what we listen to, what we watch, what we think, feel, and believe. And so overall, I encourage people to come back to the platform. Please subscribe and hit that like so you can always get what we got coming from the platform, because regardless of what people think, it is well thought out. So with that being said, let's move on. So David said he loved music. Chris said, I used to be a fan of rap and hip hop, but in the light of certain deals with record companies and the way they represent inner city culture nowadays, I don't personally ascribe to. And I can respect that. I can respect that 1,000%. I'm not generalizing, however, there's always a few bad apples in each basket. And that's that's just a true point. What about Game's new mixtape? Just asking. So I will say I did not know Game had a new mixtape out. What's the name of it? I will give it a listen. And because I want to make kind of talking about music in some aspect a normal part of the Late Night Shift Live. So please tell me what the name of it is, and I will check it out. And you said go Hawks. What Hawks are you making reference to now, Connor? And how you feeling, my guy? Because you was kind of on one the other night, understandably. You know what I'm saying? Definitely praying for you. But anyway, let me get back to it, right? So we talked about T.I. Let Him Know is the new single that's out. Kill the King is the album that will be dropping in 2026. So we look forward to seeing what you come with, T.I. Drake has been rumored, and let me know in the chat if y'all like Drake. Because it's a mixed bag. Everybody think that Kendrick then killed Drake, but we know that's cap. But Drake has been rumored to be dropping an album this year. Regardless of what has been said, it will still be a highly anticipated album. Now, we know last year we got some sexy songs for you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I bumped it recently, probably like 4-5 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer, and it still was a go. I can't lie to you. Party Next Door, Drake, some sexy songs for you, still a go ski. Probably better than GNX, but we don't got to talk about it. We don't got to argue about it. If you think differently, please let me know below, but it is what it is. All right. Now we have Jermaine Cole. J. Cole in the building. Now, J. Cole ain't leaving nothing left to the imagination about what he got going on. We've heard about the fall off. We've heard about might delete later. He gave us a rollout to the fall off. He knew how he wanted his career to go. This is rumored to be his last album. And to that I say, all good, man. If that's what you want to do. I've also heard that not only will we be getting the fall off, but we'll be getting a mixtape as well to go along with it. So I look forward to it. I gotta be honest, with the song that he's dropped thus far, phenomenal. So for those of you who don't know, the fall off is dropping February 6, 2026. From what he says, it is alluding to it'll be a double disc album. He had for the first single that he dropped, it was a disc 2 track 2, and he took Nas's approach to Rewind, where he basically gave his life story in reverse. Super fire. Just, it was heat, bruh. And then to top it off, the snippet going leaving from the disc 2 track 2, bro, Cole is finna drop one of them ones on us, bruh. For anybody who's into music, if you into rap, I'm not a rapidy rap guy. I'm not, bro. I don't want to do an encyclopedia search on what Kendrick Lamar is talking about and why it's important to the culture and what he's trying to tell us in code. I'm not into it like that, bro. If you are, respect. More power to you. I ain't mad. Just don't make me have to be in that boat with you. That's all I ask, bro. I like that Cole, he found a way to just be in a pocket for the totality of this song. We got a message that it's like, wait a minute, this boy is going. It took me a second to catch on to it, but it's like, yo, this is hard. Because it's not just the beat, he's also rapping. He's giving us something that the game has truly been missing. When Cole is dropping, when Drake is dropping, when Kendrick is dropping, I'm gonna still throw him in there. We need that, bro. When T.I. is matriculating somewhere, got something, we need that, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so looking forward to see what Cole brings February 6th, man. If this is his salute to the game, and I don't buy that, I do believe that a double disc is going to be something that's going to be monumentous. He sat with it, he said, for about 10 years. So for 10 years, he's been plotting and planning. Some people said it was believed that he was going to drop last year, but then the beef took over, and then the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, and so that made him push it back. So now we got a Q1 drop from J. Cole, Jermaine. I'm looking forward to it, and I know you're not going to disappoint. The last artist that I want to make reference to, and let's see. David said, Gangsta Grills, every movie needs a trailer along, DJ Drama. Okay, bet. Gangsta Grills. See, I still remember Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? Gangsta Grills, bro, you know what I'm saying? Freshman year of college, bro, it was up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a fan of the trap era of when trap was really just, you know what I'm saying? I get it. They say T.I. invented the trap music, but I ascribe to Jeezy when it comes to trap all day, get twice on Sunday. You feel me? So, okay, I definitely check it out, man. Come back and we'll talk about it for sure. Hold me accountable to that. So here's my last artist, Wale. Everything is a Lot. Now, this wasn't dropped in 2026. It was dropped in 2025. but it's so dope to me. It's so great. It's such great quality that I absolutely have to talk about it and clump it in with drops for 2026. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still getting heavy rotation on a regular weekly basis for me. It just is. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is well done. Now, and if you're not familiar with the album, this is a sample monster. Samples galore is what I put. Like, he's got R&B samples and vibes on every song, bruh. And he's in his bag. He doing this big one with this one. I can't hold you. So if you haven't got a chance to check out Everything is a Lot. Now, what I will say, he's got 2 songs on there that are Afrobeatish. Throw them away. I ain't into it. And I think Afrobeats is cool. I just think they really didn't have a place on the album. And so I think, you can get stuck in the battle of what's relevant, and just trying to be different as an artist, which I'll never be mad at you for. But I truly believe that based off of what I've listened to from this album, lyrics, beat, has put together, all of that, I believe that this is the album that really catapults Wale's to get certain accolades that he's wanted, as well as for him to go to that next stratosphere as an artist. I believe that Wale for years has cried and complained about how good he thought he was and why he don't get the love. But I think sometimes you just got to get into a bag like he's in now. And I believe that he'll go wherever he's trying to go. So with that being said, here are my closing remarks, man. And I wish the people that were on here earlier, they would still be on here so they could hear these closing remarks. But here are my closing remarks. Hurt people be hurting people. And I think that that's a reality that we have to look at, analyze, and be real. Now, if I look at Anton Daniels when he was a young guy, he appeared to look like a lame. And if it's true what Corey said, he was scamming, he had poor quality as a human being at that phase of his life. So to that, I offer a few solutions. Therapy can and will save your life, at least your quality of life. So just consider getting you some help, going to sit down on somebody's couch. Get away from the stigma of Black people don't tell people your business. Keep it to yourself. Therapy is for women. It's not for men. Get rid of all of that garbage and junk. Put it on a charcuterie board, bake it, and throw it away. Go sit on somebody's couch and talk to them. My next thing. Grown men still need a hug. This stuff it can sound funny to you. You could think it's a joke, but this is real. Grown men still need hugs. And might I add in a reality check? Because the reality is that life doesn't revolve around you. It doesn't revolve around your son or your vantage point of how you want to view life. We have to make sure that we don't make ourselves our own blackface, and make sure that we don't turn ourselves into our own monolith. America needs to grow up. Learn how to forgive and keep God in your life. If you know, you can finish that off. Listen, man. Thank you. I appreciate you to everybody who has tuned in. Y'all have made my day. Now I got one more comment. 315 Majestic said, when was Corey Holcomb on tour or doing anything on film? I'll wait. Exactly. Outside of a podcast, he has no following. So how does gaslighting another influence rational thoughts in the culture? Did y'all get that? Let me read it one more time. When was Holcomb on tour or doing anything on film? I'll wait. Exactly. Outside of a podcast, he has no following. So how does gaslighting another influence rational thoughts in the culture? He's been in some movies and stuff. I'll say that. He has been in some movies and stuff. I don't know about touring. I don't follow Corey like that, to be honest. But he's definitely a part of the problem in the culture. I'm gonna be honest with you. it's you know, we often talk about what toxic masculinity is or isn't. Yeah, you're right. It was years ago. But my point is, like, whether we talk about toxic masculinity being real or not, some of the things that have happened over the past couple weeks when it comes to what it means to stand on business or to, you know, to look men in the face and say certain things or whatever, it's toxic, bro. And so I'm gonna be honest, I don't really fully know your point. I mean, I give you about 30 seconds to put something on there so I can know where you're trying to go ultimately. I mean, are you just trying to say he's not relevant, period? Or what are you saying? I mean, I guess I'm trying to get that, but I don't get where you're going with it. Yeah, I mean, he uses his podcast. I mean, I don't think Corey is as popular as he thinks he is, but he does talk about like going on tours, like as far as comedy shows and stuff like that. So, I mean, are you saying that doesn't count, like him touring to like do comedy in different places? Or are you saying that that's not a thing or it's not relevant? Cool show, my brother. Game and DJ drama, new mixtape. Every movie needs a trailer. Would like to work with you. Man, email me at anthonymoore@themindofamannetwork.com. I'll put it in the comments because Reese be tripping sometimes. She don't be doing her job now. Let me put that in there real quick, brother. Yeah, email me there, bro. Anthony Moore at themindofamannetwork.com. And man, we could chop. I'll see what you have in mind. You know, you might be talking about something. Nah, you be tripping. Now you'll tell somebody you got some questions or something, and then you don't put the email down there. You know what I'm saying? So love you to life. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Start off the show putting the email in there so I could pin it or something. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I was waiting for my brother 315 Majestic to say something. I don't know if he got anything to say. But anyway, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Listen, as I end every show, life is hard enough. So please don't just live elevated and be exceptional. Until next time, I love you. May the Lord keep you. I'll see you on the other side. Say la.